killed because of racial violence. There was 13-year-old Virgil Lamar Ware. 2 Ku Klux Klan youth tried to make him run, to make a spectacle, and he refused to run because he was in front of his older brother and he didn't want to show fear. So they pulled out a gun and they shot him twice and killed him. Right up the street from where we are right now, on 12th Avenue North and 16th Street, there was a group of black kids that were angry because they felt the blast and they heard about what happened at the church. And so they began throwing rocks at cars that were driving through their community. The Birmingham police were called in. I don't have to be a historian, sadly enough, to tell you what happened next. These young kids, they took off and they ran. When they ran, the police officer pulled out his weapon and he fired it into the crowd of running children, and he struck 16-year-old Johnny Robinson in the back of the head and killed him. Now, he said he was firing a warning shot, and the police accepted that. The 2 kids that killed Virgil Lamar Ware, they both confessed to shooting and killing that boy. They spent 6 months in juvenile detention. They were charged as adults for second-degree murder. When they were brought to trial, the judge in their case said that these were 2 excellent young men who made a mistake. And he went on to talk about how they were wonderful kids in the community, and talked about one of them being an Eagle Scout. And he released them for probation and time served for the broad daylight confessed murder of another child. That was Birmingham, Alabama in 1963. Nobody received any punishment for anything that happened that day until 1977, when Robert Dynamite Bob Chambers was convicted for murdering the youngest of the 4 little girls, Carol Denise McNair.
Why was it just the youngest and not all of them?
The one. What they wanted to do is, because of Birmingham, they knew there would be a chance that they wouldn't be able to get a conviction. So they tried them for 1. And if they couldn't get a conviction then, and I need to back up, the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, refused to turn over documents and evidence and surveillance that the FBI had done on these individuals. They knew exactly who all 4 of them were when they bombed that church. But the FBI, under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, would not help. And so those men walked away for almost 20 years. So when they finally got the chance to try them, they didn't want to make a mistake. So they only tried him for the death of 1 of them. And then subsequently, they'd be able to try others for the other deaths. And it's going to take another 30 years, well, 40 years, because it'll be 2002 before the final 2 people are convicted for what they did at that church. And there's one man by the name of Herman Cash. He lived his whole life and died of natural causes and was never brought to trial for what he did at that church.
Wow.
Step back for a second, I'm just keeping this. And come on this side right here.
16th Street Baptist Church.